NBA, ESPN. I need Rachel to be in here watching this podcast. You know, she's heavy on the sports. She's heavy on the sports. So I need Rachel Nichols in here one day. All right, we lit, man. Yo, what's going on, everybody? Thank you guys for tuning in. New Wave Podcast, man. We strong on this thing again, leading up to 2021, dog. We in 2021. The New Year's is here, it's about to be here. It's about to go down. Shout out to everybody that's gonna be in the house. Shout out to everybody that's gonna be out the house. If you're gonna be out the house, be safe, be careful out there, man, because it's about to get crazy. You know what? It's gonna rain up in the East Coast. It's gonna rain, so I know nobody's gonna be really doing anything outside tomorrow. It's gonna be cold rain. It ain't gonna be no rain where you could be like you can move in. It's winter time. It's gonna be freezing outside, so you can go out there and play in that weather if you want, but you might wake up one day with a fucking cough like a motherfucker. Like it ain't gonna be feeling right. It ain't gonna feel right the next couple of days. So shout out to everybody. Tomorrow's a big day. Tomorrow's a big day. Those checks been coming in. I heard a lot of people been getting them checks today, them $600 checks. You know what I'm saying? Them $600 stimulus checks. Do what you gotta do with that money. You know what I'm saying? We already know the situation. We know it ain't enough. We know it ain't gonna do nothing but make it work. Make it work. Invest that money in a sewing kit, a machine, an embroidery machine. Go on Amazon and go crazy on Amazon with that little $600. You can take $600. Could take you a long way, dog. Find yourself brand your shit. Get a LLC. Do something. Whatever works for you. Whatever works for you. You know what I mean? Make it happen. Make it happen. Make it happen. I'm gonna leave it alone right here. But make it happen. Whatever works for you. Figure it out. It's a lot of stuff out there that you can do with that $600, man. You could spend it on bills or you could turn it into something. Bills can wait sometimes, right? Push those back. Give me 30 more days. Give me 2 more weeks. You don't got to pay your bills immediately, right? You got to pay yourself first. Figure this joint out, man. 2020 should have brought out the inner hustler in you, the inner lion in you should have came out 2020. If you didn't find that inside of you, then you just like, it's just over for you. It's really not over like the fat lady sings. It's never over till the fat lady sings, but if you didn't find your drive in 2020, then I really don't know what to tell certain people. You know, maybe it's just not for you to be doing certain things. Maybe you just here. You're just a body on earth. But 2020 should have showed you a lot about yourself. It was a big lesson. It was a book. It was a long chapter in a book. You know, this was like a real long Harry Potter chapter. You know what I'm saying? It's one of them things where where you just keep turning the pages, keep turning the pages, keep turning the pages, keep turning the pages. 2020 felt like it was never gonna end. And yeah, I said it's over for a lot of people. If they didn't get it together in 2020, like something you had to tap into your inner spiritual self, your health wise, you had to figure something out. 2020 had to wake you up, snapped you out of it. It should have snapped you right out of it. It should have woke you up. Because if it didn't wake you up, then I don't know what will. I mean, they had us wearing masks. They had us in the house tucked away. They got us scared Like people don't even know if they're gonna be like living and stuff like that. They talking about putting a needle in your arm, making you take a fucking vaccine that you don't want to do. It's really like they putting the fear into people. They instilling straight fear. So I'm just like, damn, like if this didn't wake you up, then what will? I don't know what will. You know what I mean? Because it's a lot of stuff that it's a lot. It's more than this. What I'm saying is just not is not even the tip of the iceberg. It's a lot. It's a lot of other stuff that I could touch on. You know, but 2020 is the year is a year. 2020 is like a it should have brought out something in you. It should have. It should have. You know, a lot of people got fired from their jobs. A lot of people fuck around and just quit. They said, "Fuck this shit. I ain't gonna take this no more. I'm not working for nobody no more. I'm not working for nobody no more." You know, so they quit. They said, "Fuck this shit. I'm out. I'm not taking these jobs. Got us here during the pandemic. I don't think we need to be here." Motherfuckers just quit, and they went on to bigger and better things. You know what I mean? They figured something out. They said they told themselves something. They said, "Listen, self, we're not gonna put up with this shit no more. We're gonna make moves." Shout out to everybody that did that. Shout out to everybody that put on their cape and just flew and just said, "Yo, look, I'm taking a leap of faith. I'm just gonna make moves." It's a big year. 2021 is a big year. It's kind of like a defining year. It shows you. It's gonna show you. It's gonna show you about yourself if you was really capable of doing everything that you set yourself out to do in 2020. Because you know, it just is what it is. I like to shout out my man, Mikey T, the movie star, Connecticut. You know what I mean? Showing a lot of love. Shout out to Mikey T. Heavy on the AR-AB case. You know what I mean? Heavy on that. Even doing a lot of stuff on that. A lot of segments, a lot of interviews, a lot of phone calls, a lot of letters. Even putting in a lot of work. He's been doing that for a long time though. If you don't know who Mikey T is, Report Card Radio, check him out. YouTube. Today I wanted to talk about me and my man was having a conversation today about Ray Benzino. We was talking through text messages. You know, a lot of people don't know who Ray Benzino is. They probably know him from Love and Hip Hop. They don't know that he was a part of the situation at the Source magazine. They don't know he was a part of a group from Boston called Made Men. His daughter raps. But my beef with Ray Benzino, and this is about Eminem and Benzino. You know, I'm not an Eminem fan at all. Not heavy on the Eminem shit. You can't drive around in your car bumping Eminem. Like what nerds can't even do that. White boys can't even do that. Drive the car. They can't drive in their car bumping Slim Shady. You know what I'm saying? Eminem to me is not one of the. He's not that dude. He's really not. He's not that dude. He's like a gimmicky rapper. He made it in he made it through hip hop. He found loopholes. He linked up with Dr. Dre. Dr. Dre gave him the recipe. Boom, we got Eminem, right? But now, I say that to say this. When I hear guys like Ray Benzino come at Eminem, I'm like, my dude, you are trash. You not nice. Ray Benzino has no lane to come at no rapper about lyrics. Let's be clear. Ray Benzino, he put in a lot of work in his little neighborhood. You know what I mean, in Boston. Not too many people go to Boston to do anything. You know what I'm saying? Them dudes from Boston might be like, yo, we was holding it down, we was doing this, we had shit on lock. Yeah, okay, that's cool. But can anybody recite a Ray Benzino song for me? Can anybody give me three bars of Ray Benzino? You know what I'm saying? See, Ray Benzino was on Queen's Flip the other day, and I didn't even watch the whole interview. I watched 5 minutes of it, and I was like, I'm not looking at this bullshit. You know what I mean? Because he's old. He's an old man. He's a man. He's probably almost like he's on grandpapa level. And to hear these guys get up here on the radio, on these little interviews, these podcasts, and talk all this crazy shit, it's like, dog, like for real, man, chill. You know, we know Eminem was not from the so-called hood. He bashing Eminem. How long are you gonna keep up with this shit? How long are you gonna keep this white boy's name in your mouth? You done did Love and Hip Hop. And Love and Hip Hop to me, honestly, is like, that's where rappers go when they like had enough with hip hop. They like, yo, I don't want to do this rap shit no more. I'm gonna go love hip. Even though Jim Jones came out with a couple of albums. Who else? Well, Fab probably dropped a few mixtapes. But those are the only two that can really do it. Ray Benzino is just like, dog, like, chill. Chill, man, like, chill. Like, dudes don't even want to know who you are. You know, so when I'm hearing about the boy, Ray Benzino talk all this crazy shit, just rapping and running his mouth about a guy like Eminem. Like, dog, Eminem is not a threat as far as hip hop goes. You know, it's like, pick on somebody your own size, my dude. Let's move on. You know, Eminem, you got roasted by Eminem, and you still mad. And Eminem, like I said, he's a whack to me. I don't like Eminem. I'm not a fan. Not a fan. Definitely not a fan of Eminem, Slim Shady, Marshall Mathers. But like, dog, you gotta get over that shit, dog. You gotta get over that shit. Which brings me to getting off that. I was on Bleacher Report. I'm scrolling Bleacher Report. I'm looking through I'm looking for like some stories about the Giants. They got a big game Sunday. They play against the Dallas Cowboys. So I'm scrolling Bleacher Report, and I see Terrell Owens. So I see something about Terrell Owens on Bleacher Report, and how Terrell Owens and Donovan McNabb are still beefing about some shit that happened in 2004, the Super Bowl, when McNabb so-called threw up in the huddle. So Terrell Owens was just spewing dirt on McNabb like, dog, we understand what happened. Y'all lost. New England Patriots didn't cheat y'all. The refs didn't call no crazy calls. Y'all just lost. New England played good defense. How about that? How about McNabb just couldn't take the defense of New England? How about Tom Brady was just too good? How about that defense was just better? They shut y'all down. When it was time to be, you see football, you know, you got 4 quarters of football, right? But it's not over till the last whistle blows. New England never let up on the Eagles in that Super Bowl. They played all 4 quarters. Every minute they played. They never got the ball and got relaxed. You know, when that last segment, that last sequence, you can watch this game on NFL Network. The New England Patriots just beat them dudes, and McNabb ran out of gas. They say he was throwing up in the huddle. I don't know if he was throwing up in the huddle. He was tired in the huddle. He was hunched over on his hand, with his hands on his knees. He was bent over. He was tired. He was worn out in the huddle. Yes, he was. That's not an excuse though. The fact of the matter is, these dudes got beat in this 2020, and these two guys, a wide receiver and a quarterback, are still talking about this shit to this day. That shit hurt them boys. That shit hurt. That shit stuck with them for a long time. That Super Bowl loss hurt them. And it really hurt McNabb, because McNabb put in a lot of work with the Eagles. He put in a lot of pain with them Bulls. He went from losing to going to the Super Bowl and losing that. You know, they went to championship game after championship game. That got to be a painful feeling for you as a quarterback, the leader of your team, to take your team to the NFC championship game 4 years in a row and lose every year. Every year. Then you go to the Super Bowl and lose. You know, you had the best wide receiver in the NFL come to your team, played with a damn near broken leg, running up and down the field with a fucked up leg, put historic numbers up in a Super Bowl game, and y'all lost that. It was no way. The Eagles had the best team in the NFL that year. The bottom line is they lost. And these two dudes are still arguing. You know, Terrell Owens like, yo, this boy was going to the club the night before. Like, what the fuck does that matter? How long ago was this? And you just now saying this shit? You know what I'm saying? We didn't even hear about this shit back in the days when y'all was arguing. We hearing about it now. So it's like these two dudes, man, something is not right there. Something definitely not right there in that circle. Something is not right. We know in Philly, we know that McNabb had a reputation for just not being hungry enough. I should say. We're gonna say that, not being hungry enough. Because McNabb was a beast, but he wasn't a consistent beast like in those NFC East games. It was times where he was just getting slaughtered by the defense. So if you're gonna critique the man right. And you're gonna shit on him the right way. Don't clown him on some dumb shit like he was drinking. Like everybody, what football player don't drink? You know, them motherfuckers gotta have a good time. You know what I mean? So I think it was just pretty immature by Terrell Owens. It's also immature by McNabb for even bringing his name up. You know, keep that man's name out your mouth and move on. That's it. That's how we squash shit. Don't even talk about that man. Don't even bring his name up. Terrell Owens shouldn't even matter to you right now. We in 2020, dog, and y'all still talking about each other about a football game that y'all both lost. Not one person lost that game. Both of y'all was on the same team. Y'all both lost. Understand that. It's a team effort. It's not just one man on the team. You know, you can't blame McNabb for losing that Super Bowl. You can't blame Terrell Owens for losing that because he had a real good game. You know what I'm saying? If anything, you gotta fucking blame the coaches. Not the players. The coaches are the ones that call the plays. You know, in some cases, you got quarterbacks that call the plays, but I believe Andy Reid had the power to call all the plays in that game. He wasn't giving up his playbook to McNabb. He's very strategic. He calls those shots. But fuck that, man. NBA season is looking good. The Knicks looking all right. These guys are playing some good defense. They beat the Bucks. They beat the horns off, the antlers off them motherfuckers the other night. You know what I mean? They just beat Cleveland today. I think they beat Cleveland Cavaliers. The Knicks are looking good. I don't see any standout rookies. I'm looking at LaMelo Ball. Hopefully he picks it up. I would like to see LaMelo pick it up. Um, as the season progresses, I want to see some big things out of LaMelo. Like, you know, he's a young star. I don't know if he's going to get Rookie of the Year. It's hard to tell who's going to get Rookie of the Year. You know, because these guys are like, really, these rookies are like, they're not your traditional rookies. They're a bunch of young gunners. Um, the only highlight of the season that I'm looking forward to is seeing if James Harden get traded. And if he get traded, where does he go? I was hoping James Harden will go to Brooklyn, but now that Spencer Dinwiddie's hurt, I'm thinking maybe Brooklyn might really consider getting James Harden because Dinwiddie was hurt. Dinwiddie played a major part in their rotation because the Brooklyn Nets don't have a big two with Kyrie and Kevin Durant. The Brooklyn Nets actually have a big four. You know, with LeVert, Dinwiddie, Irvin, and Durant, and then they got the young boys, the center. They got some beasts. They got DeAndre Jordan. They got some monsters on that team. So if they were to get James Harden, it would add a little more cushion to them right now. But I don't think they're willing to give up all these draft picks. And James Harden is a veteran. He got too much years in. He has years in, so it's like if you get him, you want to win with him. You don't want to get him and just get him and trade away your whole team, give away all these draft picks. But this boy got over 10 years in the league. He's considered old. You know what I mean? He's considered old. And by the looks of it, his shape, you know what I'm saying? It's like I don't know if he's taking care of his body the right way, but we'll see. We'll see. I really want to see him go to probably Brooklyn or Golden State. If the Golden State Warriors can pull it off, I would love to see James Harden in a Golden State Warriors uniform with Chef Curry. Chef Curry. Because they're going to be cooking. And then Clay come back next season, and then fucking Draymond come back. It's gonna be some shit going on in Golden State. You know what I mean? If they could pull a trade off, because they got the young guys on the bench. They don't need but a 9-man rotation with Harden on the team. They don't need your Harden look crazy, man. Harden looking wild right now. Harden is looking like everything is like Harden look like a thumb. You know what I mean? His body is just like a thumb, dog. He don't look like he don't have the muscles. I don't know what he been thinking about, what clubs he been in, but his conditioning coach need to take a step back, and they need to sit Harden down and just say, look, we got to refocus because it's the season now. Maybe it's because John Wall is over there and he just like, fuck it, I don't care. Y'all got a point guard. And you know, John Wall is a hard act to follow, dog. A healthy John Wall will play some good basketball for you. See, the thing about John Wall that we forget because he's been injured, we forget how good he is. And John Wall is good. He can play. He can play basketball. He can play basketball. What we don't understand is that the NBA is a game built around systems. John Wall never been in a good system. He's never been in a system where he could be like, yes, I'm winning. Finally, I'm winning. Like Kemba Walker, you took Kemba Walker out of Charlotte, you put him in Boston, you changed the system. You changed the whole system because he wasn't winning in Charlotte. So you put Kemba Walker, he's hurting right now, but you put Kemba Walker in Boston with Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, and all these other guys. you're gonna see Kemba Walker really play basketball because see, Kemba Walker came up never playing on a bad team. You got to understand that these guys came up from high school to the collegiate level playing on good teams. When they in the NBA is when they start playing on bad teams. So now people start to look at them like, oh, they ain't shit. Nah, it's like it's not. They not bad players. They just on bad teams. They just got bad leadership. They don't have nobody to put the pieces together. See, when you in AAU, when you playing AAU basketball or when you playing college basketball, like the coach can recruit the best players in the world. And it ain't no motherfucking salary cap. It's all about scholarships and girls and wanting to go to the school. So I can recruit 5 best players. I could put a starting 5 together that'll fucking go crazy out here. And I ain't got to pay them shit. But when you get to the NBA, that's when the building the structure starts to crumble. Now these dudes is playing for corporations and organizations that they don't really care. They just lining their pockets up. They just trying to grease their pockets and get more money to please them. They don't care about no ring. Most of these teams don't care about winning. They just care about getting the money. Like, you know what I'm saying? You got the Knicks. The Knicks, it was once upon a time they cared about winning. Now, the owner or whoever this boy is, he doesn't really care. He don't value winning. He values money and filling the seats up. So you're starting to see a difference in the New York basketball. It don't matter. Now, players don't even want to play for the Knicks. They like, nah, you know what I'm saying? I don't think I want to go over there. I don't think it's a good look. You know what I'm saying? So the Knicks is building through the draft now. And when they building through the draft, they drafting players that they all look the same. They all built the same. Because they don't got nobody that care about winning. They not drafting to be the future of New York. They just drafting, just to draft. You know what I'm saying? You don't got no studs over there. You gotta draft, you gotta trade, you gotta add on. It's like the Portland Trailblazers. They got Damian Lillard. He's the corner piece to that team. They drafted him. They knew what they wanted. Now, when they drafted him, they build around him. That's not a big market team. They don't really they don't really get to the championship. But I'm telling you, as long as Damian Lillard's in Portland, they're gonna have a shot. They're gonna have a strong chance, and not a lot of people gonna want to go up against this boy. Not a lot of people gonna want to play against him because he's dedicated, and players want to play with him. It ain't even about the money in Portland. It's about winning. They trying to win. They trying to get busy. C.J. McCollum. You know, Carmelo talking about, yo, listen, man, I played here last year, and the chemistry was so good. I'm willing to do something I never did in my whole career. I'm willing to come off the bench. That's how and Dame, big game Dame, like, yo, I ain't gonna be bossing it up over here. I'm just gonna fall back. I'm gonna relax. I'm gonna let Melo observe the situation that we got going on, and I'm gonna see what he want. Cause trust me, if Carmelo was to start acting crazy in Portland, they would have got rid of him. They would have said, nah, you don't fit this team. You don't fit the structure. But Melo seen what was going on. He said, yo, you know what? All right, these dudes is dedicated to winning. It's not like it's different. So, you know, that's what I'm saying. Like, these NBA players, coming up is hard for them. It's hard for them because they used to winning. They used to winning. They've been winning their whole life as far as sports goes. As far as basketball goes, they've been winning from kids up into the NBA. That's when this shit started getting, like, difficult. You know what I mean? Because it's just like that salary cap, them contracts. It's all about a business now. You got these scouts, these agents involved. You know what I'm saying? So So sports is crazy, man. Sports is a business. It's just something else, man. It's something else, but you gotta love it. And I'm gonna tell y'all something right now. I'm gonna tell y'all something right now. The only team that's gonna win in the next 2 years is either Golden State if they can get James Harden, will take away the spot from the Lakers. But the Lakers will win as long as LeBron is on that team and Anthony Davis. You know, Anthony Davis ain't going nowhere for 5 years. He's locked in. The only thing that could stop him is an injury. Knock on wood. We don't want him to get hurt. But in the East Coast, there's no team built that can beat the Los Angeles Lakers. There's no team on the East Coast. You can say Miami. You can say whatever you want. I heard, I don't know who it was. One of these announcers, one of these commentators. I don't know if it was Skip Bayless. You know what I mean? I didn't physically hear him say it, but I read a headline. I don't know. I think it was Stephen A. Smith. I don't know who it was. It was one of them motherfuckers, man. They said that the Lakers aren't good as they were last year. I said, you might be right. But what makes them bad? You know what I'm saying? What makes them bad? You got the best player in the world on your team. You got Anthony Davis, the best big man in the game. There's nobody better than Anthony Davis at the point at that position. You could tell me, you could name all of them, and I'm gonna tell you why they not better than him. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna give you valid shit. I'm not gonna say like I'm a groupie or nothing like that. I'm gonna tell you facts. Anthony Davis is the best big man in the NBA right now. He's versatile. He's strong. He can run up and down the court. He can play defense. He can shoot. He makes free throws. He can score. He can give you 30. He can give you 30 and 15 easy on a tired night. And I seen that motherfucker pull from the 3-point line like he was Kobe Bryant and fade away. Ain't no big man fading away. Ain't no big man supposed to do shit like that. Usually them guys just shoot straight up. They shoot straight up and they shot is flat. This boy got an arch on his shit. And he drops back and he fades away and he can spin on you from back there. He could turn around and do that shit, that Kobe shit. You see, that's what makes him special. See, he came up playing as a small ball. He came up playing, he grew. He was like the type player to be point guard. He grew into that size. You know what I'm saying? His pops trained him to be like a shooting guard type baller. So he got this skill set that no other big man got. Giannis, Greek the Freak, Giannis, the only thing he does is run down a lane, dunk, and do crazy shit like that. The ball game is one-dimensional. He don't have a jump shot. He can't shoot free throws. He can rebound, yeah. He's supposed to be able to rebound. But his game is so one-sided that a team defense can stop him. Because they never going to play him one-on-one. They always going to play team defense against a player like him. Because only thing he does is cherry pick and dunk. That's it. You put a big man down there, draw the foul. Offensive foul. We going the other way. You see it in the playoffs all the time. His last 2 playoff appearances, he choked. Why? Because they played team defense, not one player guarding you. Team defense. You talk about guys like Djokovic from Denver. Anthony Davis bust his ass in the playoffs. The boy didn't score over 25 points. He shut him down. You see, the Lakers had Anthony Davis and Dwight Howard. So it's never on some selfish. It's never on some. You always gonna have help when you got a star player on with the ball that can score. So you never gonna have a one-on-one matchup. And if you do have a one-on-one matchup, it's gonna be in transition. You know what I'm saying? And when the guys is dribbling the ball down the court, they get them and they, yo, throw me the ball. He in the paint, and that's when you get the one-on-ones. But even then, Djokovic couldn't even handle Anthony Davis in the paint. Anthony Davis, only thing he had to do was put his arms up, stretch on him, and this boy got scared. Couldn't even shoot. And this dude, we talking about a superstar right here. This dude is playing against superstars, doing stuff like this. So like I said, nobody on the East Coast is going to beat the Lakers within the next 2 years because they don't have the manpower. You ain't got nobody that's going to stop LeBron. You ain't got nobody that's going to stop Anthony Davis. Then they just signed the ball from the Clippers. You ain't got nobody that's going to stop him. I'm trying to tell you, son. I'm trying to tell you guys. When it come to this LeBron James kid, he gonna get what he want. He gonna get what he want. Haters gonna hate, but LeBron gonna get what he want. You know what he want? He want that hardware. He want the rings. He trying to prove people wrong. He's a man on a mission. He's a man on a mission. And we never seen a player like LeBron James, like with such focus. Like, when I say he's a man on a mission, Kobe wasn't on a mission like how LeBron is. Kobe Bryant was not on a mission. I'm not saying LeBron better than Kobe. I'm saying Kobe was never on a mission like LeBron was or is. LeBron tapped in. He focused. Dudes could say whatever they want. This motherfucker could sit out 3 games and come back. Drop 30, sit out another game, come back, give out like 15 assists, grab about 18 rebounds. I'm talking 18 rebounds. This is a small forward here. LeBron James grabbed 18 boards. He could dish out 25, he could dish out 20 assists. I seen that that documentary with the young boy that he plays overseas and shit. But LeBron is one of those special players. He ain't going nowhere. He ain't going nowhere. You know, so shout out to the Lakers. I'm a Laker fan, but I'm not speaking like I'm trying to make people cross over and be Laker fans, you know what I'm saying? I like the Lakers. I love the Lakers. But what I'm saying is that teams better get it together. On the East Coast, I'm talking about. You know, I was watching something on the New York Knicks, and you know, I like the Knicks. I'm not a Knicks fan, but I like the Knicks from back in the days. You know what I mean? I'm like one of those Knicks fans. I'm not a Knicks fan. I'm like, I was the era. I rooted for the Knicks when they played the Bulls, and when they played the Miami Heat, and when they played the Toronto Raptors. I'm talking about playoff Knicks. You know, playoff Knicks. When the Knicks was rumbling, when they had rivalries, that's when I really rooted for the Knicks. I wasn't never a fan. I just wanted to see them win a championship because I live in New York. So when the New York Knicks were balling and they were going crazy and outside, you know, that was one of the best eras in basketball. You know what I mean? It's almost like, you know, it's like when you watch it now, you watch it on TV, right? Say you watching it on NBA TV, watching an old Knick game. That shit damn near look like it's in black and white. That's how classic the shit is. The color is all sketchy. The uniforms look crazy. And you know, one of my favorite New York Knicks was Patrick Ewing. I'm a Patrick Ewing fan. I tell motherfuckers about Patrick Ewing and they be looking at me like, damn, dog. Fuck is that, your brother or some shit? Yo, Pat. That's what I'm saying. New East Coast basketball was always a big man sport. It was always like, it was like a jungle. It was like a jungle in the East Coast. You know what I'm saying? You had Shaquille O'Neal. We talking about before he went to the Lakers. You had Shaquille O'Neal. You got your Alonzo Mourning. You got your Dikembe Mutombo when he came from Denver. You got Patrick Ewing. You got big men. You got even the white boys was crazy. You know what I'm saying? Bill Wennington from Chicago. He served his purpose on the court. You know when he was there for a reason. He wasn't like how Patrick Ewing and them was. You know, but Patrick Ewing to give you motherfucking a cool 30 and 20. Easy. You know, Patrick Ewing would pull up. Patrick Ewing come up in the gym. Them motherfuckers was scared of Pat. You know, they was scared. Because this motherfucker will come in with that knee. And he'll wave them elbow. He come in with the knee and the elbow. And finger roll or dunk that shit. You know, that's the type of... See, when I look at guys like Joel Embiid, I'm like... Joel Embiid need to be like Patrick Ewing. He has to be like Patrick Ewing. In order for Joel Embiid to be like... Joel Embiid is too soft for me. He's like one of them guys, he smiled too much. He never like mad. In order for Joel Embiid to beast up on these motherfuckers, he gotta be angry. He gotta be mad. He gotta be vicious. He gotta dunk. He gotta elbow somebody in their mouth. He gotta knock their teeth out. You know what I'm saying? He gotta send a motherfucker home crying. One of the best shooting centers in the NBA. Patrick Ewing will pull from the corner, or he'll pull from above that motherfucking bubble, right above that free throw line. Pat will hit that. You know that's going in. You know that's going in. Pat pull that, you know it's going in. That's money. Pat pull that shit, he look at that bench and he shake his fucking head. You know, the Jamaican sensation. You tell me about some fucking Patrick Ewing, dog. Patrick Ewing had them moves. You know, Patrick Ewing put New York City on his back. Patrick Ewing put New York City on his back. It ain't no player. Let's be clear. And you correct me if I'm wrong. There's no other NBA player that had the pressure, that had more pressure than Patrick Ewing besides Karl Malone. Patrick Ewing had the pressure because the refs, I never stop saying this. I say this every podcast I talk about Patrick Ewing. It wasn't just the Knicks losing. It was the refs not giving them the calls that they deserved. Because these dudes fought hard. The Knicks was defense. You know what the fuck was going to happen. But the refs would not give them the calls. You know what I'm saying? Reggie Miller, when they played against the Indiana Pacers, Reggie Miller wasn't killing the Knicks. I mean, he pushed one of the players when he hit that shot. Refs didn't call that. They waved it off. You know, the refs didn't call that. They said, They let Reggie Miller hit that shot in New York City. And he threw up that choke sign. And that shit kind of broke our hearts out there in New York. That shit kind of broke our hearts. you know. But like I said, the Knicks always had the battle versus the referees. When Vince Carter came to town, everybody know when Knicks and Vince Carter, they tried to make the Toronto Raptors and the New York Knicks a rivalry. Just like they tried to make Orlando and New York a rivalry. When Shaquille O'Neal played for the Orlando Magic, they tried to make, because it was Patrick Ewing and Shaquille O'Neal, and Patrick Ewing used to bust Shaq ass. Yeah, granted, Shaquille O'Neal would dunk a few times, but Patrick Ewing hit him with the hook up right. He was just jabbing him. It wasn't nothing happening. Wasn't nothing happening. Wasn't nothing happening. They always try to make that rivalry. So when Toronto came to New York City, it was like they were trying to make that Vince Carter, Vinsanity shit come to New York City, the Mecca. The Mecca. They wanted him to come up in there and make history in the Garden. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know. I think they beat the Knicks. Or I think the Knicks beat them. But they caught the Knicks at the tail end of their beastful career. Because, you know, the Knicks had a run. The Knicks had the East Coast in a chokehold. It was the Knicks and Bulls and the Pacers. And they was locking it down. And then came Vince Carter and Tracy McGrady and Del Curry. This was going at it. It was a beautiful time in basketball. But my point is, we won't get back to that level unless these players start like cherishing the moment and the rivalries like they should. Like, we have no more rivalries no more. We have no more, I don't like this team. You know what I'm saying? I remember, dudes used to come to New York with Chicago jerseys on and get them shits ripped off their back. And that's a fact. You know what I'm saying? I was there. Niggas would come to with them Jordans. It wasn't even about the sneakers. It was about wearing that Mike jersey. Don't wear that shit in the park. You know what I'm saying? Don't wear that shit. Fuck's you doing with that Michael Jordan? Who you think you nice? You know what I'm saying? You had to be a special motherfucker to wear a Jordan jersey in New York City Park. You just couldn't do it. It was all New York Knicks. Motherfuckers wore that Patrick Ewing jersey with pride. And them sneakers. We got to get back to the essence of basketball. We got to get back to the rivalries. We got to make people like, we got to make teams uncomfortable. Like, I remember when we went to the let me tell you a quick story before I roll out, because I got a couple minutes left. We went to a game, and it was the Boston Celtics versus 76ers. And motherfuckers was in there thick. Sixer fans telling you it's one of the most hostile environments. If you've never been to a Sixer game, a Philly game, you need to go to one when the world opened back up. So we up in there, and the Boston fans, this is when Antoine Walker and Paul Pierce was playing. We sitting in the back court side, right in front of Allen Iverson mom. We yelling and shit. And it's just like that rivalry. Them fans, once they hear one person yell, it's like a ripple effect. The whole stadium start yelling, and that shit start getting scary. And then Boston fans start walking away. They start leaving. And then Paul Pierce just hit a three, try to bring them back. It's like they feed off that energy, that rivalry. That shit right there, that's that energy that the game is missing. You know what I mean? And I just remember them saying, screaming defense. Allen Iverson got the ball. They screaming defense. I mean, Paul Pierce got the ball. Allen Iverson's guarding Paul Pierce. And they screaming defense. And Allen Iverson just, and Paul Pierce kick it out to Antoine Walker. Walker hit the three. The crowd get quiet. Shit crazy. Them rivalry games is something else. Boston and Philly is a good rivalry game. You gotta fuck with it. You gotta fuck with those games. And I'm like the ringleader of talking shit when it comes to basketball. I talk shit to the players. Fuck the fans. I'm on the court. You're gonna hear my mouth. I'm talking hella shit. I'm talking mad shit. I want them motherfuckers to jump in the stands and fight. That's how motherfucking bad I be getting it. You ain't shit. Fuck you talking about. Meet me in the parking lot. I got a beer waiting for you. That type shit. We reckless. I miss basketball. Shout out to everybody that tuned into the podcast, man. Shout out to everybody that's tuning in that's listening in. We on all major platforms. Tidal is popping. Amazon is popping. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna talk my shit. But shout out to everybody that's out here tuning in. You know what I'm saying? Happy New Year's. It won't be a traditional podcast tomorrow, but I'm definitely gonna be on here. I'm gonna get my bottle of 1942 tomorrow morning. Get some Hennessy, get some juice and shit. The shit not gonna look like no drink champs, but I'm gonna be outside. I'm gonna be outside doing my shit. We're gonna have some fun. 2020's a wrap. We don't even want to remember 2020, but we have to. It's stuck with us. Moving on. Y'all already know the vibes, man. Get that money, man. Don't let this pandemic stop your flow. Whatever you're doing, do it right. Do it at a high level, man. You know what I mean? I started from the kitchen. I'm in the living room now, but you see what's going on right here. You know what I mean? I started from the kitchen. I came up. It's a little bit of levels. It's like a video game, man. It's like a video game. It's like Mario Brothers, man. Like jump, catch the flag, and move through the castle on to the next. You know what I'm saying? We're going to do what we got to do. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. New Wave Podcast, man. Y'all stay sucker free. Tomorrow we popping some bottles, man. Midnight, we gonna make some noise, man. Y'all be safe, man. I'm out.